Hello and welcome to Kinetic Builds. We're back with another episode of Satisfactory, and today the goal is to see if we can get through all of the Tier 2 objectives. Now this is going to be just a little bit harder than Tier 1 because there's a few more objectives, and we've got some more advanced things that we're going to need to build, such as these rotors, and I think we need a whole bunch of these reinforced iron plates as well. But in order to build these things, at least with any kind of automation, we're going to need to first unlock the part assembly milestone, because this is going to give us the assembler, which will take 2 items and craft them into something. And we do happen to have the materials here, so I'm going to actually go ahead and select this milestone, and we're going to go ahead and top off of the requirements here. And I'm going to get this one going right out of the gate so that I can get access to that assembler.
Milestone
and then
reached.
we'll come
More
back
complex
and worry
assembly
about the rest of
can
these
now
in a
be
minute.
Automated. Project assembly parts can now be constructed and sent up via the space elevator. Note: project parts are too complex to produce by hand.
Yeah, so that's saying when we do build the space elevator, some of these parts that require multiple components are going to have to be built in one of these assemblers, or later on in a manufacturer. We're not going to be able to do them at the workshop. It just won't let us. I did add a third biofuel burner here, and that is to support a couple of small upgrades we made off camera. If I jump over here, last time we expanded all of these lines to have essentially 2 constructors coming out of them to take better advantage of how much ore we have. And what we've done is over here we had a container where we were loading up the copper wire, and you'll notice this is pretty much empty now because I put a constructor in front of this to start making cable. And that's because all of the requirements here for level 2 or tier 2 are going to require cable. We're going to need quite a bit of it, so we've gone ahead and set up some storage for that, and we'll be collecting it. I could probably get rid of this storage container. We're going to clean all this up later though, so I haven't been too worried about it. But that caused us to use up all of this copper wire. We did add a second line off camera here to pump out the full 60 copper wire a minute to keep this bolt full and to keep that constructor going. So I just came over here and tossed in another smelter, split it right off the line there, and we've got 2 more constructors making copper wire right here, which is great. So now we're starting to get some copper wire. I don't need as much raw copper wire for the milestones at this stage, but I will need it to build some of the buildings, so I figured, why not? We'll get it going. It can't hurt to have a little bit in our inventory. And that's when, it's a doggo. I saw up on the cliff when I was walking around somewhere up here a sparkling green slug thing. There we go. And we're gonna grab this. These blue power slugs, and there's a couple of colors of
seems to emit
slugs.
unfamiliar energy readings which could potentially be retrofitted into Fix-It technology. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
Well, there's Ada stealing my thunder. These power slugs can be used to research these power boosters that we can put into our machines and boost their efficiency. If we look at this right now, there's nothing here, but we're going to unlock the ability to put one of these power boosters in there and overclock our machines. So we're going to run over here to the MAM and research this slug and get that stuff unlocked. We come right here. Power slugs are going to unlock power shards. There we go. Now I need to find additional ones, and I'll get slug scanning so we can use that object scanner to scan slugs. I'm going to need some screws for that. So let me go grab some of those real quick. We've got this constructor right here working on screws for us. And that way when we're out on our adventures, we can keep an eye out and hopefully find some more of these slugs. Very good. And then we don't yet have the things necessary for these. This one I'll get the overclocking research as soon as I find another slug to make into a power shard. But we're not quite there just yet. Now, while I wait for the pod to return, I thought now would be a great time to take a quick trip back into this little nook that we saw on our way over here. If I'm not mistaken, there was a hard drive crash site type deal right over here by the water. Oh, we've got 2 of these hogs here. We're gonna get kicked all over the place. And we're gonna get these resources as soon as we take care of these hogs. All these bushes everywhere, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. Oh, I see one coming. Yikes. They don't hurt as bad as they used to. I say as they do lots of damage. Well, maybe we shouldn't have tried to brute force that, but either way, we've got them cleared away. I'm just going to run around and get some materials. It's a great place to get like reinforced iron plates and stuff, and that's going to make it so that we can hopefully progress the tiers here with some of these advanced materials without having to craft so many of them right out of the gate. Now this drop pod here says repairs needed. It needs 1 modular frame. Well, that is a piece of equipment or a piece of crafting material that I have not yet unlocked, so we'll have to return to this hard drive at some point. I'm just gonna take the scenic route back around the corner here to our base, clear out some of this foliage along the way, and our little ship thing is back, so let's go ahead and get in here and check if this is enough of these to move forward. It is. I just need a few iron rods, which we have in abundance, so I'm going to go ahead and just load this thing up with the other materials, and I'll go pick up the iron rods and plates out of storage, and we're going to get the Logistics Mark II going, which is going to give us faster belts, which hasn't been a real problem yet, but also it's just going to get us even closer here to moving forward with our milestones. All right, here we go, the last of those, and then I'm going to come in here. We're going to select this milestone now as well and clean up all of those. And I'm just going to keep going here. We've got 1 more milestone. Let's get this going. Looks like I need just a couple more concrete. We should have that, and then we can send all 3 of those up in a single go of it. There we are. Let's do this. Send that one. Oh.
Milestone reached. Biofuel will ensure maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily of wood. Additionally, R&D inflated your pocket dimensions. Milestone reached. Improved versions of conveyor belts and conveyor lifts are now accessible. To encourage additional verticality, conveyor poles now have a stackable variant. Milestone reached. You have been given early access to the Anti-Waste Effort for Stress Testing of Materials on Exoplanets bonus program. Funneling parts into the Awesome Resource Sink, depending on their amount and complexity, will grant you coupons in the Awesome Store, which can be exchanged for bonus rewards. Examples of bonus content are parts, walls, factory attachments, and cosmetics. Fixit is working hard to develop additional options, which will be added to the Awesome Store in the future. Go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
Go awesome. I love it. All right. Well, that is 3 additional upgrades that got us a lot of stuff. We just look at the list again here. We've gotten, we can actually build these modular frames now, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got obstacle clearing, which included more inventory spots, and solid biofuel, which is going to be even better than the biomass that we're dealing with now. The awesome sink and awesome shop, this is going to let us put additional resources into the sink and get tickets that we can spend at the shop for a lot of more base building and stuff, optional things, but there's a lot of good quality of life stuff in there, so I'm excited to get that set up and going. And then our logistics Mark II is faster belts and a faster lift. So we're going to be able to move resources at 120 per minute now. And we might as well just select this one to get going. I'm going to need 50 of these rotors. And in order to make rotors, I could craft them by hand, which I'm going to have to actually do to get the assembler going. But I think I want to get this assembler built so I can just have it start cranking out those rotors for me. So let me go ahead and jump in here and we'll craft a few of these up the old-fashioned way. And I'm just going to come right over here. We're going to toss one right down here and set something up to get it started for us, because I don't want to craft all of these by hand, and we're going to need some of them for other things eventually here. And so if I just bring the screws in right out, and then over here, I'm only using 15 iron ingots at a shot, so if I toss a splitter in here, it's kind of tight, but I can just eke it in. And then I get myself another constructor. Oh, I need one more reinforced plate to do that. There we go. If I could toss down a constructor right over here, we'll run the excess I have here over into there. And this is going to make the iron rods, was it, that I need to make rotors and screws? Iron rods and screws. And I'm just going to add in a pole to there. Let me reroute this from here to here, here to there. And now we've got all of these components moving on their own. I'm bringing 15 iron rods a minute out of there. And I'm bringing 40 screws a minute out of here, which should be not enough to keep this moving, but better than nothing. It will give us some of the materials that we need here. Now I'm keeping an eye on my power consumption levels here. We are definitely starting to push up. This blue line is how much we could potentially consume, and the gray line is our max power capacity, so I'm right on the edge there, but we're doing all right. And this is going to keep moving until we can start crafting these rotors, so we're good to go. These are going to be getting made in the background now for us. And once again, this is the last thing we need for tier 2, but it's going to take a minute for that to move through. What I want to do, though, is once we get the items we do have made sunk into this, is we need to make one of these modular frames and take that over and see if we can go ahead and unlock that power drive thing that we came across right around the corner here. Let's see now. If I remember right, at least this was a modular frame. There we go. We pull this door closed. And we've got one fix-it hard drive.
Data on the hard drive has been salvaged and can be repurposed to unlock an alternate recipe. Salvaging more hard drives will provide additional alternate recipes.
So what these are going to do is let me do a little bit of research for a few minutes here, and then I'll get to pick randomly from a list of alternate recipes that are in the game. And this is really cool because some of these recipes make life so much easier when it comes to crafting certain types of items. So if you can get some of the good alternate recipes early on, that can be very helpful and very much change how you lay out your factory. And this is one of the reasons why, as much as it pains me to see this massive spaghetti machine sitting out here in a very unorganized way, it doesn't make sense to try and start organizing them until you know if you're going to get some of these recipes and we can get some of the things unlocked that we need to be able to move forward from a factory building and organization perspective. Ideally, once we get to, I think, the next tier, let me look at the list. We're going to unlock something called trucks or truck stations. I can't actually see it. once we got to complete space elevator phase 1 in order to do that. So once we get that going, in the next tier, I'm almost positive is where the truck logistics are, and we're going to be able to set this whole area up just to craft the ingots for the iron. Maybe we'll pipe the copper back in and around as well, and I'm going to set up a truck station to come through here and pick those up and take them somewhere else, where we're going to build a bigger factory and facility for doing some of this kind of stuff. Now, as you can see, this isn't getting made especially fast. We've got 7 rotors in that amount of time that I've been rambling, which isn't great, but isn't terrible considering we only need 50. But we should go ahead and start looking at what we're going to need to do the next things here, which one of those is to build the space elevator. Now, so far we've been doing all of these milestones right here in the machine, but in order to progress to new tiers, we're going to have to build the space elevator. And this thing requires a ton of concrete and some of these other materials. So I'm going to go around and gather what we have, and we're going to see how close to these numbers we are. In fact, I can just put it over here on our checklist. That's the easiest way to do it. And I have to say, having played other games, specifically Return to Moria for a few weeks in a row here, I keep hitting the B button to bring up the build menu, and in Satisfactory, that's the flashlight. So if I'm flashing the light on and off, and you're finding that a little bit annoying, I do apologize. It's become second nature to me to bring up the build menu with the B button, as tab has also been the get out of a menu screen for me. So I'm all kinds of disoriented. We'll get used to closing down our menu screen with the E key here again. I feel like I need to go back to playing some more Minecraft with my younger son, where E button does the open and close on inventory and such. However, I think we're getting real close here to the numbers we need for everything except for concrete. So this is where we are now able to take advantage of getting these tier 2 belts. And so if I come into logistics here, you can see that to use a conveyor belt Mark II, I just need some more of these reinforced iron plates. So I'm going to go make some of those, and then we're going to upgrade this belt of limestone coming down the hill, and we're going to turn that into a tier 2 belt so we can get 120 limestone down the hill at a time, and that'll let us set up additional constructors to make more concrete for us. And before I do that, I am going to set up one more constructor right here, just in front of the one that's creating our biomass, because this is going to create the biofuel that I'd like to start using instead of the biomass directly. This is going to last a lot longer than just burning the biomass directly, and hopefully kind of get us over the hump until we get into coal power very soon here. So there we go, that's going to get started. I'm going to dump that whole stack of it in here to get it seated, and I'm going to take the first little bit of that, and we're going to start swapping out the fuel in these machines, like so. And as you can see, that's burning down a bit slower than the other one was here. It's only going to burn 4 per minute as well, instead of the 10 per minute of the biomass that we've been burning. So I'm just going to go down the line here real quick, and we'll get all of these upgraded with some of the biofuel, and then I will jump back over here and we'll start working on the lime improvements. All right, let's see what we can do here. The first step is to craft another constructor. I'm going to put one on either side of this guy, and we can just use control to lock him right on there. And then honestly, we're going to be able to support 2 additional constructors. So I'm going to do it like that. And then I'm going to grab a merger, and we're going to toss this right on this belt. We're going to receive a warning about clipping. Again, I can't wait to get into a nice factory layout here for this stuff, but for the time being, we'll keep complaining about it because that's going to make it all better, right? And I'm going to grab this splitter here, and coming down off of this line, we're going to be running materials into all 3 of these constructors evenly, and that should let us start making concrete on all of these lines at just a little bit of a deficit, because we'll be bringing down 120 and we'll be consuming 45 of these each, which would be 135, so it'll be real close. Just make sure I've got concrete selected on both of these, and we're going to get them hooked up to the power grid. I'm worried that we're going to start running low on power here soon. And I don't know where this middle one is hooked up to power. Oh, over on the other side there. Let me see here. I'm actually going to disconnect that for a second. I'm going to hook all 3 of these up to the same pole, just to make my life a little bit easier managing all this. And we're going to run that over to that power pole. There we go. All of these are up and running now. Of course, I think we probably used up the bulk of our materials. I need 18 of these. I used up the bulk of them building the constructors and such. So let me go get some more of those reinforced iron doohickeys made, and we'll be right back. I got back here. We're all upgraded. Let's get the belt Mark II going here. We're going to upgrade to this belt, and then I also need to grab this one up from the miner, which I thought I was going to have to run up there, but apparently not. So now I should have a lot of concrete running down here. We'll see these belts start to fill up a little bit more now that the belt up here has caught up with the limestone coming down from the miner. We're not quite full as I anticipated, but we're running a lot more smoothly now. And that's cranking those out in an accelerated rate and bringing them all back together over here, getting us quite a bit of concrete. We're not quite there, but we'll be there soon. I'm going to go ahead and grab the wire that we need from the other side. And I think by the time I get done running around and gathering some supplies, we'll be good to go here. And we certainly can't forget about the MAM. We've got some resources in here that we're going to be able to use. Now, the alternate for this is the bolted iron plate. This is 18 and 50. I'm not sure. I wonder if I can exit out of the screen and go look. I know I don't need iron alloy ingots. That doesn't sound like a good use, having to mix 2 materials together. Copper rotors also, it looks like it's accelerated build time, but copper's a little bit harder of a resource to get. I can definitely craft that pretty easy, but that doesn't seem like a great idea. I really wanted to get rid of having to use screws. The standard recipe is 1 of those and 4 screws. Oh no, the standard recipe for a screw is that. What is the standard recipe for a reinforced iron plate? Normally it's 6 plates and 12 screws. And this is 18 plates and 50 screws. So we would use more screws to increase production speed. That doesn't sound like a great deal. I could just build 3 assemblers and use less materials to get it done in the same amount of time. This is not a great alternate recipe. I don't understand who would want to use that. This one I get because you would get more iron ingots. You're only using 4 total materials to get to 5. But I'm not terribly interested in using copper to do that. I guess I'm looking at doing this. 5 iron rods, or I could use 6 copper. I'm using less screws to get rotors faster. That seems like the better deal, and we're getting 1125 per minute. I'm going to get the alternate copper rotor recipe. There we go. And that is how that works sometimes, where sometimes the options aren't necessarily great in general, but in this case I feel like that's an upgrade. Given the resource distribution we have and stuff, I'm going to have to figure out how to make those copper plates and get them over here. That's not a problem, but you can see here we had 145 limestone sitting there already. That's nice and quick, and we're going to be able to get this space elevator slapped down here right quick. I'm going to get rid of this lookout tower. I think for the time being, I'm going to see if I've got room to put it down here. This space elevator, folks, is something special. Yeah, it's quite literally something special. But as you can see, it's ginormous. I need to make sure that the computer panel is on one side that I can get to it, and the inputs for feeding stuff in are also in a convenient spot. I'm trying to find a spot I can set this down on the ground, actually. It seems like I'm getting up on that hill. Oh man, this might not fit over here. Let's see if I rotate it. Why is it so far up in the air? Alright, you know what? I'm going to push H to lock it. And now I can kind of move around and look at where it's at and what's going on here. Oh yeah, it's clipping through the side of the mountain over here. Okay, well that's clearly not going to work. And apparently we broke something. I think the power grid probably shut down because we haven't been paying attention to everything going on and we ran out of fuel somewhere. Yeah, I don't think this is going to fit there. All right, let me get the power grid back online, and then we'll figure out where we're going to put this. Need some more of this biofuel, and it looks like, yep, this one right over here is in the orange. So one of the things that we've unlocked in this last round of upgrades is the chainsaw, which I'm going to grab right now because I believe this is going to help us find a spot to put down this giant space elevator. And we'll go ahead and replace the scanner with that for now. I am going to need some fuel to get this chainsaw to work, so I'm going to grab some of the biofuel here temporarily. And I'm suddenly remembering from my last playthrough a couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure I put the space elevator up on top of this cliff to start with. I think we're going to go up there real quick and see if that's a possibility, if I'm remembering correctly. So here we are coming up on that cliff from above, and it looks like I've got quite a bit of room up here. It's relatively flat, and in a pinch we could build some platforms and get some materials piped up here if we needed to. So I think what we're going to do is get this chainsaw out. We're going to go cut down some trees. Oh, that's so satisfying. Do I have the inventory room for this? Maybe. What I like about the chainsaw is it takes out not only the tree, but all the surrounding vegetation. So I can use that like that and just take out entire swaths of bushes. It sure beats doing it by hand. I'm just looking around. I don't think I need to go down there, but I might take out, say, this tree here. Oh, all three of them. Look at that. I like it. Well, there you have it, folks. So we've got this all cleared out. I'm going to grab the last few of these bushes here, and then we'll probably put down some platforms. I don't even know how big of this space elevator is going to be, so I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. Oh, our inventory is full. I guess we can just see how big it is, can't we? Wow, this thing is massive. I need to get like somewhere taller than it in order to figure out how to place it. So I think the best plan for this is actually going to be to come over here into this corner, and I will build one of these lookout towers, like right in the corner here. That should be out of the way. Oops, and then once we're up here, now I should be able to look at the space elevator and see what's going on. All right, perfect. So I've got the computer console there, and it looks like the materials both come in on the back end there. So if I were to do this and just set it down out here somewhere, I think we'd be good. I was going to build some platforms to put this on, but just looking at how purely massive this thing is, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So I'm just going to slap it down right on the ground here. As ugly as that is, look at all the materials flying in. This is my favorite part of Satisfactory, is watching the random materials flying out of your inventory into something that you're crafting, especially when it's this big. Oh, this is so much fun to watch. There's our orbital platform up there, dropping down the tether. There we are. Grab these hooks. Oh, so good. They did such a great job on the animations for this thing. And there we are, folks. We've officially got ourselves a space elevator. Let's go ahead and jump up here on the screen and take a quick look at this. The very first thing is this smart plating we're going to need, which is, the rotors we've been building and some of these reinforced iron plates. We'll need 50 of each. Perfect, not a problem. That's exactly what we're working towards. And I think what we're going to end up doing for that is being a little bit cheesy. We're going to just manufacture them down below. I'm going to set up a container up here and we'll dump them in via container when the time comes. As long as I'm up here, I suppose we can even just drop the containers down. We are going to get into automating, and I could start automating this early in the playthrough. Maybe the other side's going to be better for this, actually. But because, again, we want to just get to that next tier of equipment so that we're going to be able to start building better bases. I don't want to bother wasting the time on a base I know I'm going to have to just tear down anyway. So we're getting close, though, folks. We're getting close. Probably be able to start crafting legitimate bases even in the next episode, I'm thinking. And I'm just putting 2 of these down right now, and we're going to hook them up. It's not a big deal. Why am I putting 2 of these down? I only need 1 of them. And that's where we're going to put the finished materials. But I'm going to go back down, and we're going to craft those materials in the base on the first floor. We need 50 of those smart platings. But before we can do that, I'm going to need just one other thing, which is to finish this milestone. I probably shouldn't. It's jump pads. It's not that interesting. But the completionist in me wants to see us get the last of our milestones done here. So there we go.
Milestone reached. Several buildings aimed at factory traversal can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
Perfect. And we're going to set down an additional assembler here. And I'm just trying to see if I can line up that orange output. Oh no, that's nowhere near lined up. Hang on, let me try that again. Set that down, and assembler. It doesn't need to be perfect, but something around there. And the reason we're doing this is because I can pipe the rotors that we're making right into this to make the smart plating. And then I just need to set up a quick reinforced iron plate assembler over here, and we can get that feeding in as well. So we'll just grab another one of these and slap it down right in here. I'm missing some of the reinforced iron plates I would need to make that. Okay, I'm going to rework this just a little bit here. I've got quite a few rotors coming in already. In fact, I'm almost to 50 rotors. So I think rather than continuing to try and craft rotors here, since I have the 50 we need, what we're going to do is we're going to switch this thing out to start making iron plates instead. And then we'll be able to take from this and switch this over to the reinforced iron plate recipe, which is going to be screws and plates. And that's going to be a quick and easy way to switch this out once we get a few more rotors made here, which should go pretty quickly. In fact, let me just steal a stack of these once it starts making stuff. And there we go. I'm going to switch the recipe now. Looks like we got everything out of here, and we're making reinforced iron plates now. Perfect. So with that production cranking, I'm going to set this assembler back up. We'd taken it down for a minute because I thought I was going to have to move these machines. But instead, we'll just slap this right down. Get the belt moving into there. We will tell this to start making smart plating. I'm gonna drop some rotors into there. Where did the rotors that I just had go? There were 3 of them in this machine when I switched recipes. Okay, well, it is what it is. I can always just make a few rotors by hand if I have to. Trying to find somewhere to plug this machine into. All the way back over there I'll have to do. And let me go just grab a couple of rotors out of the crafting bench to make up for our mistakes. There we go, and if I toss those in here, you can see we're making 2 a minute. So right now this is going to take a whopping 25 minutes for us to create all of these smart platings. That's actually fine. We've got a lot of different work and upgrades we need to do around the base here. And honestly, it wasn't even my goal to finish off phase 1 of the space elevator today. We've got some good progress on that, and I don't know, who knows? I guess I could set up another one of these assemblers out here. We are making 5 reinforced plates per minute, and we're only consuming 2 a minute. So if I could solve my power problems, which I'm pretty sure is from a sheer lack of fuel, I think we could run a second assembler. Yep, this one's out of fuel over here. Let me get it going again. We've been so excited by building everything. We haven't been paying attention to the fuel situation as close as we should, I suppose. Get the leaves moving here. And yeah, let's go ahead and get one more of these going. Q, assembler. We'll slap it down right there. Oh, we're missing 4 rotors. Of course we are. All right, we're back here. Let's see if I can, whoops, figure out how to get this thing over here. Something like that. And of course we'll need a splitter on these coming out. Pump one right into there. And this is going to make smart plating as well. I'm going to need some more rotors over here though. Can I split a stack of rotors? Let me wait until this one's done before I pull these out. Alright, we did that. Let's see, I can split a stack. Send that stack back in over there. Send that stack in over here. And we're backing up on plates here for some reason. This needs 30 a minute to make 20 a minute. And I'm consuming 30 a minute. Okay, that's fine. You know what? Let's just drop a whole stack in here to make sure that this thing keeps going for now. Can I drop some into the output of a production machine? I can. Look at that. We get them all queued up on the board there, the conveyor belt, and this will keep these cranking. No power. Well, they're not going to crank very fast if they don't have power, I suppose. Gonna slap that down there. And we're going to bring a line over here. Like so. That should keep them both going now. We've got a whopping 9 of these done already. And both of these machines are going, minus the power issues we keep having. Again, we've really got to get the upgrades going here on the space elevator. I need to find my way into coal power. And this is breaking down because both of these are out of fuel. Oh, we're actually able to consume more than we have here, so that extra assembler was one too far, apparently. Oh my goodness. All right, one more of these. We're gonna get it done today, folks. We've committed. Now we've just gotta double down and get it done. Not creating a biofuel fast enough here to keep up with everything else that's going on. We're gonna have to potentially get one more of these going so that I can make biofuel just a little bit faster, which is spending more fuel to make more fuel. And then I'm gonna see if I can sneak a merger in here. It's gonna clip bad, but that's all right, we'll do it. And this is gonna be biomass wood. And I've got a power spot right there I can use. Drop some wood in here, and let's see how this is going to work. So that's creating 60 a minute. This is creating a 300 a minute. Let me get the reinforced iron plates necessary to upgrade this. Let me see if I've got enough in here somewhere. I'm going to grab some of these real quick. I'm going to deconstruct this. We're going to move it forward just a bit so that we can better set this all up. Constructor. Mark II belt. And solid biofuel. Now we should be able to take in 120 biomass a minute to make 60 biofuel. If only we had enough biofuel to keep this moving that long, I think we'll get caught up here. There we go. Well, that's looking a lot better, folks. I can keep my leaves moving. I can keep my wood moving. And in fact, that one's all full. I think maybe what I'll do, let me see if I have enough belts. We'll upgrade that one to a tier 2 as well, so that at least if this one's empty, this one will spam it full. And let's go distribute some fuel here like Santa Claus. Awesome. Well, let's check on these now, see how we're coming. Got 17 there. 24 total. We're already halfway done. That's moving along a lot faster than I was expecting. I'm just going to drop that one plate in there so we've got plenty. And yeah, we're making 2 per minute in each of these facilities. That's 4 per minute. We only need 25. So now we've got this whole thing down to, you know, what's that? 5, 6, 7 minutes. We're going to let this go. I'm going to go refill my water bottle and we'll be back and knock out this phase 1 on the space elevator here before we wrap up today's episode. Since I am impatient as ever, I decided I'll come up here and we'll start unloading the 35 or so I have in my inventory, since that's going to take like a minute to dump all of those out because the belts are 60 per minute. And at least we can get that moving while we wait here. Just cleaning up. I can get back down without killing myself by falling off here onto these rocks. Ooh, only took a little damage, I guess. But it was something to do, distract myself for a couple minutes. We are so close here to being done. Just waiting for a few more of these to wrap up. Another thing I thought we could do while we wait is run over here. If I remember right, there's a lot more of these power slugs out and about on the map. And usually when you've got these like branches, there we go, that go over areas, you can find some of them. This one's poisonous. Whoa, there's 2 of those hogs. I didn't see them at first. Well, let's, we're doing terrible, folks. I've lost one of them. Come on, come on. Okay, we got it. Let's go see if we can take care of this. This is a yellow power slug. All right. And that's stinger remains, which is one of the things we need. I don't know when we got spider-looking things out on the surface, though. That seems horrible and terrifying. And I see one more of these slugs over here that I'm going to run over and grab. And then we can turn around and head back. I think last time this is the hill I built my factory on, because I remember these bones like sticking out the side of my factory. So we might, yeah, this is a nice big flat spot up here. We may come back up here and start building again when we're ready to start our first semi-permanent construction facility. I think that could work out very well for us. We'll stop off at the MAM here and check on these power slugs, see what we can do. 25 rotors. Oof, that's going to be pretty steep for the yellow slug, but I can do this one if we just make the power cell first out of the other slug that we got. We did get 2 of them. Power shard 1. We'll convert this guy into a power shard. And then we're going to need to spend that power shard in order to get overclocking. That's okay. You've got to do it eventually. Boom. There we go. So now we can overclock production. And what that means is what Ada was trying to say. We can drop a power shard in here and I can overclock to a faster speed. It costs a lot more power, but it'll let you be able to balance your machines to get that perfect ratio of what you need to make. We can also now, as a result, underclock and use less power if we're making less per minute. It looks like rotors is what we're coming up low on at the moment. I thought we had enough rotors to make everything that we needed. Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's just see here. I've got 17 of these. That would get me to 51. Yeah, we've got enough here. I guess we did circumvent our rotor manufacturing to make reinforced iron plates. Let me just grab all those plates and we will swap the recipe here back over to rotors. We'll swap this recipe back over to iron rods. And we'll let this thing start cranking out rotors again. I am going to just deconstruct what leads out of there because I don't want to make any more of this smart plating at the moment. We're going to need the rotors for some things. Okay, with that though, let's go drop these smart plates off and complete phase 1 of the space elevator. Drop these in here. Actually, I need one of them back. There we go. We'll put just the right amount in there so I don't lose track of anything while we're doing this. And as soon as the last of them are in here, we're going to be able to go ahead and unlock tiers 3 and 4. Perfect. Here it goes. Sealing. And ascend it. There she goes. We didn't quite get up here fast enough to watch. Well, alrighty then. That has been an...
This mineral shows purity levels akin to synthetic quartz manufactured on Earth and can be used to improve communication and exploration technologies. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
Well, that's cool. We randomly found some quartz falling off the side of a mountain. However, we're going to call that an episode here, folks. We've gotten through the first phase of the space elevator. We've unlocked tiers 3 and 4. And as you can see, phase 2 of the space elevator is a lot of these beefy components, which we're going to actually need a real factory to start making this stuff. And that means we're going to unlock the tier 3 and 4 components and get the factory up and running here over the next episodes and really get into this game proper, in my opinion. Up until now has all just been the game teaching us basic skills that we're going to need for the rest of the game. We've got this. We've figured all this stuff out. I can't wait to get into the more advanced stuff. I think we've officially entered kind of that mid-game where we need to build factories for real. Stay tuned next episode for some more Satisfactory. That's all for today. Kedrick out.